I took up his time.
Okay.
And since I don't think I have another person that I've been planning this for, I think I might even go a little bit more over today. So I'm just going to call that out right now. So I want to tell you, my papa, that's what I called him, my mom's dad, Carolyn's dad, my kids' grandparents, or grandpa, was not afraid to die.
Amen.
When Honey passed, he looked at me and he goes, "How much longer do you think?" And then he told me, "I don't plan on learning the budget, and I don't care if I cook, or I don't care if I have the heat on all the time, even if Carolyn doesn't want me to." So he told me those things. So I think in December, he knew all along that he was right behind her. He lived a magic life. I have to think, and I know it might seem weird, but when he was in the service, he was there for 9 months. All of his fingernails fell off, and they kicked him out. And I just want to say thank you to the military, because I'm sure that when he couldn't touch anything and his hands hurt really bad, he wasn't really thanking Jesus right then. But if that happened, or if that didn't happen, we might not be here today, right? He may have gone off to war, and his small town, and they call it Missouri, by the way. In Oregon, we call it Missouri. But in Missouri, they had a lot of deaths from the war, and he never spoke of it. But he was only in it 9 months, and I just want to thank the Lord today that all of his fingernails fell off, and they kicked him out, basically. They gave him $200 and said, "Go home." He went home. He married my grandma. He fell in love with horses, and they moved out west with the cowboys. You know how that goes. And I've been east, and they still think that there's a bunch of cowboys. What they don't know is they're right, and I'm right here with them. So I just want to say, if you're crying right now, that's okay. But I want you to know he's right where he wants to be right now. So he got really sick. We came back. Sorry. We came back, and everyone was asleep, and we were sort of taking turns. And he whispered in my ears, and he goes, "Again, I ask, how much longer?" And he said it kind of grumpy this time. And I said, "I do not know God's timing, Grandpa." And he says, "Well," like he thought I did. I don't know. So just let you know, he was ready, and I am happy that he's with my grandmother. And I'm sure they're looking down on us right now, and they are smiling because people are here that they love, but they don't want us stuck here. So we're going to move on. We're going to be happy, and we have some very funny stories, because if you knew my grandfather well enough, you knew he was a storyteller. Some might say that I got the DNA, but he was better than me. And there's one person that's even better than me sitting in this room right now. I begged him to do this, so if I call him out in front of you all, he cannot say no. So my cousin Travis, who's sitting over here, doesn't really want to do this right now, but he told me a story over the phone, and I laughed till I was crying. It is so funny. So Travis, I love you, man.
You can do it.
Did you hear him sigh? Gotta love that. So this is Travis. He's younger than me. And we grew up causing a lot of mischief. I got in a lot of trouble because of Travis, and I'm sure that he got in trouble because of me, but I only remember the times I got in trouble because of him. So, this is Travis.
I'm Travis.
And I love him, and he's probably not loving me right now, but
I am not much of a speaker, but here we go.
he's going to do this. He's going to do this. He had some cows that he had to go get. I'm starting it for you.
We have this, I have this forest permit that I bought, or didn't buy, accumulated or whatever, and I got some cows in with it, and turned the cows on there. It was kind of like, you know, the Columbus days of grazing, turned them out in the spring and discovered them in the fall. Well, I was looking and riding, I couldn't find them. Paul was like, "You need help?" And mind you, I think he was 79 years old at the time. I'm like, "No, I think I can get him." He goes, "Well, I should probably come help." No. So I call Mom. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, Pop wants to come help me gather cows." "Well, let him go." "Oh, wait, whoa. No, because what happens if something happens to him on my time? Yeah, I don't want anything to happen to him on your time is fine, but not mine." "Oh, if something happens to him, he'll be doing what he loves. You know, so don't worry about it." "You're right, Mom." So anyway, I said, well, we'll try to get an early start. And this was, in the fall of the year. I said, maybe you could be out the house about 5:30 or so. I get up about 4:30 and I look out my bedroom window and here he comes. I'm like, oh boy, no breakfast. Okay, well, I'll grab something. Went out, caught my horse. He goes, I didn't want to be late. 45 minutes, and down there, it doesn't get daylight for a couple hours yet. It's only a half-hour drive. Well, we got to get up there. So we get up, we get in the pickup, we go up there, and it's ways out across this permit. It's steep and it's dirty, and there's scary stuff. And no, for real, there is. And we get there and we take off, and I thought, well, I'll try He's cookie. I keep what the cow went. And so we get down the road. It was, the only reason I know how far it was because there was a mile marker on this road, and it was 8 miles and way past that, and we got the 8 mile marker. I was thinking, I'm going to walk. And he just looked at me. I can't. So anyway, we go on further, we find some cows, probably 15, 20 head, and we start trailing them back. And it's starting to get late in the day, and we get back to about the 8 mile marker, and there's cows all over in this other truck. I said, well, Papa, you go ahead and take these cows out over the hill and get these, and I'll meet you back at the cross. Okay. So I go over and come out, and we get our cattle, and get up at the corrals, and it's just about getting dark. I get my cows there, I'm thinking, all right, cool, he's going to be here. I get there, no cows, no. Oh boy.
Happened on his time.
Yeah, it's happening on my time. I'm thinking, I got to come on. Grandma Honey's going to be mad. All right, fine. I'm scared of the dark, mind you. I don't care. Because there is stuff that's creepy. It started raining and snowing and blowing, and I was getting wet, and I took off trotting back down to where I went, where we came from, and it was way past dark now, and I didn't have a flashlight, no food, because when you're concerned about your pop, you don't think about yourself, you just think about him dying on your time. So anyway, I go farther around there and look for hours. I thought, okay, well, this is it. I go walking back up to the gravels, soaking wet, freezing. Put my horse in the trailer, go open the passenger door of the pickup, see if there's any food. And he's sitting there eating a sandwich. He goes, wonder when Jens is all going to show up. You got to be kidding me. But Mom, you didn't die on my time this time. Yeah, interesting. After that, I just probably can't come anymore.
All right, he doesn't know it, but he is a good public speaker. So what was good is Papa saved him half a sandwich. I bet there was more in that bucket, but he got half a sandwich. Now, to follow in line with another horse story, Colleen, who is not here today, is telling me a story that Papa has told me as well. And they kind of have a different, kind of twist to it. But I'll tell you Colleen's version, and then I'll say, and Papa said, right? And the difference. So, Colleen's on her first endurance ride, and she's with Papa. And they're going for 25 miles. And he says to Colleen, you need to stick with me, right? So Colleen and Papa are going along. I want to say she's 11 or 12. She couldn't remember exactly how old she was. But, she's much younger than I never went on one. I was going to say much younger than my first one. But anyway, she's pretty young in my book. And at one point, she gets bored with it and says, can I go faster? Now, Papa said, I told her that she should catch the guy up in front of us. But I don't know which way's right. But Colleen, wants to go faster. So when Papa tells the story, he's telling her how proud he is of her because she does something really sportsmanlike at the end. And when Colleen's telling me, she's telling me because she's going to win this baby, okay? So she gets to go in and she catches the horse that Papa tells her that she needs to catch, and she passes him, right? Well, she gets to a gate, and she's too little to open the gate. So she has to wait for the next rider, who is the person that she just passed, right? And in Colleen's mind, she's like, I really want to win this. I want to beat this guy because Papa doesn't think I can. That's what she was thinking in her head. So she gets to the gate, the guy gets to the gate, he opens it, she moves her horse through, and then she waits for him. And this is the part that just sits well with Papa. because he taught her to be sportsmanlike, to be polite, to be a great cowgirl. And she waited for the guy to go. It turns out that once they're through the gate, she beats him anyway. And Glee's pretty excited about that. But what Papa remembers is that she waited and she did the right thing after she went through the gate. So he tells that with pride, and it's a different pride than Colleen has because she beat the guy that Papa didn't think she could beat. And Papa tells it because she was a good sportswoman. And I am from Eugene. Never mind. So then Justin, when I'm talking to him on the phone, you had to know it would be a horse story with Papa involved, right? And Justin's telling me about riding Fanny Flag. So if you've been in our family, you know that Fanny Flag is this little Shetland pony that had a mind of its own, much like Connie and Carolyn. So if you know them, this pony is same DNA pretty much, just in a pony. Does whatever it wants and won't do what you want it to unless it wants to, okay? So Papa and a bunch of other people and Justin are on a ride, and there's a big ditch filled with water. Papa's horse goes through, he gives a little kick. By the way, I'm wearing my spurs that I found in his house yesterday. So he gives a little kick, I don't know if he's wearing spurs, but in my mind he is. And his horse goes right through. He turns to look. Justin's sitting on the other side with this little pony that's looking at everyone saying, I'm not going through that water. So Papa turns back around, grabs the reins, ties him around his saddle, I guess on the horn, I don't know if Justin told me, and pulls the pony through. Well, the pony doesn't want to go. And I just told you that they're like Connie and Carolyn, and so it didn't want to go. So it pulls back, it comes all the way out of the reins and everything. I am from Eugene, I don't know what it's called, whatever, around its ears, you know. Anyway, it comes out, Papa's holding that piece, and Justin and the horse, or the pony, are going that other way. And Justin says he's just hanging on, and Papa's yelling behind him, hold on, Justin, hold on! And if you've ever ridden with him and your horse goes a little sideways, you heard it. And Papa's after the horse. Well, the pony spots a tree, and I know what happens when a pony spots a tree and doesn't want you on it. It goes under the lowest branch and you're on the ground, right? Justin says that's exactly what happens. He's laying on the ground, hurting, trying not to cry, hurting, maybe crying, but he's trying not to. And Papa goes after the pony. Comes back to the pony and looks at him and says, aren't you going to get up? No, are you okay? Are you bleeding? Do we need to call anything? You need to get back on that horse. So Justin says he gets back on the horse, Papa gets the horse across the water, but he also expected that of us, right? That is biblical, by the way. You get knocked down, that's Satan, you get back up, you get back on that horse. Doesn't happen very often in Eugene that we have a horse, but we have plenty of times that we get knocked off our feet, and you got to get back up again. So those are pretty good stories about horses. My sister has a different story. It's about a Pinto. Yeah, my grandpa owned a Pinto. It was a car, and it didn't run very well, and Grandma never liked that car. So if you brought it up at the dinner table, have you ever eaten with Charlotte? She gets a little cranky sometimes. I never wanted to buy that car. And Papa would just sit there, and he was quiet when he needed to be. He was smart that way, much like Danny and Dave. I don't know if you've ever been around them, but they know when to stay quiet. Papa was really quiet sometimes, and she would gripe about it. But Colette tells me she spent a whole summer here working at Montgomery Ward's when Honey owned the store. And Papa got put on a diet. I don't know if you paid attention, but he was never really fat or needed a diet. But Honey thought he needed a diet one time. And so they would drive to 7-Eleven to sneak a treat. Okay? So they're in the Pinto, and as they get close to the parking lot, Papa says to Colette, okay, we're going to slow down, and when we get close to stopping, you got to put your foot out, because the brakes don't work very well. And Colette's, okay, so if you know my dad, Dave, you can't open the door until he says, we're stopped, the emergency brake's on, then you can open the door, right? It's not the case. So Colette looks over, and sure enough, he's opened up his door, he's got his foot going out. So she puts her foot out, and that is how they stopped. Did the whole Fred Flintstone thing? And to top it off, right at that point, he jumps out, he's got 2 pieces of wood, and he puts them under the back tire so it doesn't roll down. I never knew that. I knew he was handy, and I knew he was a problem solver, but I didn't know that part of it. So that we don't own that Pinto anymore, but if we did, I would want it, just for that sheer memory of not being able to use it very well. Just a couple of summers ago, my mom and my aunt did the most amazing, daring, crazy, in my book, thing. They took Grandma, Grandpa, Aunt Donna to Missouri. 3 wheelchairs. I think it was United. Lots of different, making the connections. But there are a number of pictures that come from that. And if you look at the joy in my grandfather's face, he got to see his family for the last time. I never really liked Facebook, but now they're my Facebook friends. People I don't even know are wanting to be my friend just because they can see the pictures of Papa on there. And he enjoyed every moment of it. So when they were planning it, I was thinking in my head, I hope they don't ask me to go because I don't want to go. I don't want to go. They must have known that because they didn't ask me to go. But it was the most amazing gift that Carolyn and Connie gave to my grandpa. Honey didn't want to go, but she went because she never wanted to be left behind. So she went, and they got to see everything that they missed. They brought home stuff that cost the sisters $400 to mail because Papa wanted it. He probably didn't know that, or he still would have wanted it. But he loved family. He loved to go camping. He loved anything that didn't have a roof over the top of it. And while I have this huge amount of stories that I could probably tell in my life with him, the one that I remember is being in a car, and he loved to play day. And I was here. It is amazing to me that I never moved here, because every winter, every spring, every summer, if I could talk my parents into letting me come, if I could call Honey and kind of trick them, I always thought we were tricking, but I think my mom was just as good to get rid of us. But I would come here and stay here. And he wanted to take me to a play day. And he wants me to ride the barrels. I wish Colleen were here right now because she'd be dying laughing. And I said, the barrels? And he goes, yeah, the barrels. Don't worry about it. The horse knows where you're going. Okay. I go, well, can I win? Well, is the horse good enough to win? And he goes, you're not going to win because you're not good enough to hold on to the horse as fast as the horse wants to go. But the horse knows how to do it, right? He goes, yep, just let the horse do it. So he gets me out there. I don't know what I'm doing. I look like a complete idiot. Probably wearing tennis shoes, probably. Probably everyone's laughing at me. I don't know that because I am from Eugene and I don't know that yet. But I go out there. He gives the horse a little pat on the bottom and he says, hang on, girl. That's what he says to me. I don't know what's in I'm hanging on and he's yelling back there, go faster, go faster. I say, slow down, slow down. I lose the reins and I can't do anything. And the horse is doing its thing, right? And as it's coming back and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's never going to stop. Because all I could see was the fence coming closer to me. And we weren't slowing down because that horse knew when it had to stop. And it just puts on its brakes. And of course, you know where I am, on the ground. That's right. I didn't land in anything but dirt. And Papa runs over and he goes, get back up. You got to get back up and get back on that horse. And it turns out I got a 3rd place ribbon. That's right, I earned it. And we're in the truck on the way back, and I am covered with dirt. And his nickname was Tom for me. What I didn't know is that Tomboy is what it meant, but he called me Tom. He goes, Tom, I can't believe it. You won something. And I said, I think the horse won it. And he goes, you held on. And he had the biggest, proudest smile on his face. Yeah, I didn't earn that. I remember it, though. And he wanted me to not feel bad if I didn't win it, but I did win it. So, when on his last days, when I would sit with him and he was hurting really bad, he just hurt. I would pray with him and he would calm down. His hands would shake, and then if you would pray, he would just sort of sink in. And I remember praying. I have this one memorized. I'm just afraid that because I'm emotional, I won't remember it. But one of the prayers, when I did it when no one was around, because it just felt like he was alone, and maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just fine. But I whispered in his ear, "The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul." And he went like this on his heart. He missed my grandma so much, he just wanted to go home. I said, "He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." He feared nothing. He feared nothing. When Travis was lost in his mind, he was sitting in the truck waiting for him. He knew he'd make it back. "I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies." And he stopped me right there and he goes, "Do you think they have pie?" I said, "I think they do." He goes, "What kind?" banana? And he goes, no, no, I don't think so. I said, I was trying to remember what Mom brought for him at Christmas time. Chocolate? Yeah, that's probably it. I go, you want me to go on? He goes, yeah. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. And he says, you know it does. And I said, I know it does. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Amen.
And he says, that's where I'm going, you know. He was ready. We weren't ready because we loved him. He was 93 and he was ready. And it felt selfish to keep him here. Yet, he was just the sort that would sit and listen and listen and listen. And then if you would stop talking for 20 seconds, he would have a really good story for you. He wasn't perfect. He didn't walk on water unless it was frozen. But, okay, a couple things that weren't perfect about him. He loved the Polka Channel. Oh my goodness. You were there more than 48 hours. When the Polka songs came on, you might go somewhere else. But he loved that channel. He loved sweets when Honey wasn't looking. This was my first trip to Prineville where I didn't make chocolate chip cookies and sneak them to him. Yet he never kept a secret from her because I would sneak them to him, knowing she'd give him the whatever, and he would look at her and go, because apparently if it was a gift, you could eat it. So finally, I just want to say that he raised two really marvelous girls, because if they weren't this marvelous, Travis and Justin and Colette and Colleen and me wouldn't have as marvelous a kids as we do. And he is proud of each and every one of them. He talked about them. Of course, we weren't talking midway for him, but he would talk about them, and he talked about his church people. He loved his horses. So up there in the slideshow, when you see him all bundled up, that was the deal. He had to take his medicine, something else, and something else. I can't remember. And then we had to get enough people out there that could push him out there, but he wanted to see his horse one last time. It's like the horse knew it, the horse came up, and that horse loves him, and he loved that horse. And yet he loves us more. So I just want to say that Connie and Carolyn are amazing sisters. They fight like cats and dogs, so if you've been out there anytime when they're together, I don't know who's the cat and who's the dog, but we have a ton of clocks. So at Christmas time, if you didn't know to get Papa, you just got a clock and put his picture in it because he loves his picture being taken. Or you could get a calendar, or you could get him food. He liked all those things. He was very easy to buy for. But we have so many memories at our home that when we pick them up, we cry and we laugh at the same time. And that is what I hope. Shoot. I almost made it. That is what I hope when Taylor or Nate or Charlie are up here talking about me when I pass. This is what I hope. That I get to carry them away in my heart. And all I can think about is the good things that they gave us. So, Carolyn and Connie, I didn't get your stories in, and I don't have my timer on, so I don't know where I am. And he's right behind me. You are amazing, and your parents were amazing, and they were not perfect. But you have done great things with us. Thanks for loving us. Thanks for letting me keep the clock. And the hanky and the spurs that I'm wearing on my feet. Love you all. And really, because it's such bad timing usually that I'm here, I hope I don't see you for another year or two. Love you.